Assalamu alaikum, dear students and respected viewers. As you know, we have to start a new chapter, that is tribal communities. We have completed chapter number 7, and now in our chapter 8, the name of the chapter is tribal communities. First of all, we must be clear what do we mean by the tribals, or what do we mean by the tribes. First of all, it is very common and very easy to understand. Those people who have a common ancestral features or tie-ups, they are called as tribes. But now a question arises that we people who are living in villages, in towns, in cities, we people have also some common features, and we have also ancestral tie-ups. Then whether we will also called as tribals, or only those people who are living in the distinct areas are called as tribals, or those people who are living in villages, cities, towns, whether they are also coming into the same category or not. This is also a question. But for those people who are living in villages, towns and cities, or in metropolitan cities, they are not coming into this tribal communities. In other words, we will not call them as tribals. The only thing that is having ancestral tie-ups or some common features within them are not made them tribals. There are other different reasons which make them tribals. For example, this is introduction, and in the next slide we will discuss also. These people first of all have a ancestral tie-ups, and secondly, they are living in the far-flung areas. They are living in the dense forests, they are living on the mountains, they are living in other places which are not near the cities and towns and villages. For example, if we are living in Handwara, in Langate, in Kafara, but these people are living far away from such communities, like as in those areas which are not easy for us to locate. Only the scholars and even the researchers went to these places. And these people are not like us, they are not going with the change or with the development. For example, I will give a simple example for your understanding, and even though that community is not coming in the tribal communities. If you will visit the village or the village of Grays, there we people don't have such cell phones. If there are, but the network is very weak. Even though that community is not a tribal community, when the people are living far away from that, and some parts of Ladakh also comes, some, not the every, but few parts of Ladakh comes into the tribal communities. And for our understanding and for our information, the highest population of tribal communities in India is in Madhya Pradesh. That is in Madhya Pradesh. And now we will further talk about them. Tribal communities. What are tribal communities? What make them tribals? What make them different from us? What make them unique? What make them particular? What make them peculiar even? What are the different features? What are the different reasons which make them tribals? When we people are not given such names, when the people of villages, cities or towns are not called as tribals, what are the different reasons? What are the different features? What are the different characteristics of such people who are living in such areas that they are called as tribals, and they are recognized by the government of India as tribals? And for your better understanding, don't think so that tribals exist only in India. They exist in the different parts of the world, even in the European as well as in different continents of world. Why I called European? Because European society is very much developed, even though there are also tribals. Now we will talk about the tribal communities. Tribal communities, those people who are living in natural environment. For example, as we people, first of all, natural environment. Natural environment, that means they don't have such concrete houses, they don't have such concrete roads, hospitals, and other facilities. That means they are living in forests, they are living in the natural setting. They have an ancestral ties are called tribals. Those people who have ancestral ties, which I told you earlier in my first slide, that these people have such ties which have a history of thousands or hundreds of years. They are living in the dense forests far away from the society. It is very easy to understand. No change had come in their lives except in the place of their dwelling. They live a nomadic life. For example, for this very purpose, it is very easy to understand. First, for example, when the mobile phones, cell phones, computer, internet, laptops, and other things, cement, bricks, and other things I may call as different technological developments went with the passage of time, or different developments came in our lives. We went with them. We have not refused, but these people do not accept, or they do not take their lives with the change. They live their life in a unique style which their ancestors, their grandparents have lived, or from the very hundreds of years ago they live such a lifestyle. They do not even clothe like we people. For example, if you may see in the tribals of Congo, even Nigeria, even of this, I will give you an example of an European country of somewhere in probably in Denmark. Those people are still living in such a way which is very much peculiar to us. Even these people, these tribals in such parts of the world, they do not even at this moment clothe themselves. Not only this, they have different and unique customs and festivals. Now the only their change before some year, before the 100 years which was in them, that they used to develop. In other words, they used to change their place. For example, if it is hot in summer in India, they may come and live their life in Kashmir. And in winter, it is very cold here in Kashmir, they may change their place from Kashmir to Punjab. And now, another question may arise in your minds that these tribals, whether they are only at this moment or they were existent from the very beginning. Yes, they were existing from the very beginning. If we will talk of the medieval period, then we will say that they were also existent in the medieval period, during the Mughal rule, during the Delhi Sultan, or during the British Empire. They were existent. That means before the medieval period, they may be also. Not only maybe, but they were. Now, when we are talking about the Vedic age, we also call that as a semi-nomadic life, or before that we were calling them as nomadic life. They were living a nomadic life. Now, another question arises whether we know about them or we don't know about them. We know a little about them, and there are the few reasons which I have written in the next slide. We know a little about them. Why we know little about them? There are different reasons. Due to the following reasons, we know little about them. First of all, as I told you, they are not living in villages, cities, towns. So it is very difficult for the researchers, for the scholars, or for the we people also, that we are not able to approach them easily. In other words, it is very difficult to approach them. Simply here, as you know, these people live in far-flung areas. It was very difficult for any outsider to reach at such places. Number second, they do not allow anyone to enter in their community, so it was very difficult to know about them. For example, if any outsider at the evening comes to my home as a guest, as a stranger, I will give him a place for the night as a guest. But these people, when we approach them, we have a different lifestyle, and these people have a different lifestyle, and they took us as their enemy. However, you may have seen also in different movies, in dramas, in films and pictures, that such tribes, they do not allow outsiders or others to visit or to live with them. The tribals never kept written records. This also made a problem for the outsider to know about them. When they are not literate, they cannot write. First of all, they are not educated, they are not literate. When they have already such problems, when they have already two problems. First problem, they are not literate, they are not educated. Then when they don't have education, they are not literate, then they are not able to write. And number second, they are living a ancestral lifestyle which is existent from the hundreds and thousands of years ago. In that very way, they do not need to write down their records. It changes orally from generation to generation, which in our political science is called as socialization. Family as a school of socialization. In other words, family, their parents transfer the knowledge and information of their culture to their children orally, and they do not need to written records. But if they don't need write written records, but it creates a problem for we people to know about them. Now the second question also comes in our mind, then how do we then know about tribals? In other words, how do we know? If we are reading, and we have sometimes in movies we have seen these tribals, or we read about them, then how such an information came to us? First of all, very easy to understand. To study about the tribals, one has to befriend and live with them. This gives us an opportunity to study their culture and lifestyle, which is then written by such people, and then historians study such documents and drive the history of the tribals. For your better understanding, if we want to know, or I may have an interest to know about a particular tribe of our country, first of all, what I have to do, first of all, I have to be friend with such a tribal community. Then I have to live with them for a period of time. However, it may take 6 months, 1 year, or sometimes it may take years, 2-3 years. In this period, I will try to understand, and I will write, and I will do the different jobs while living with them, to write all these things into different in my documentary or in my documents. And After that, these documents are studied by the different historians, and these historians give us a detailed account of their history, of their records, of their living, of their culture. And with this, we came to know about the different tribals. My dear students, now our another subtopic is types of tribes. What are the different types of tribes, or how we differentiate between the tribes, or how we call the name of different tribes on what basis. For example, it is very easy to understand how a village turns into a town or a city, right? Every town used to be a village, and after a period of time, when the different changes took place into that very village, and its status of village was changed by the government of India or by the different governments of the world into the city or into the town. And what are those things? For example, these are the different characteristics and the features. When any village, for example, has been given the different offices by the government of India, and that village turns into a town or a tehsil or a zone or a block, and the same village is then called as a town or a city. For example, for your better understanding, my students, once upon a time, Langet used to be a village. Now, what are the different things on which we divide these tribes into different types? Tribes are divided on different bases, like as religion, geographic region, their language, their races, their economic activities, etc. For example, a particular tribe have a particular religion, and sometimes various tribes have a same religion. For example, the people who are living in Kashmir, or those tribes who are living in Kashmir, they may have one religion, that is Islam. They may be Muslims, but they can be also divided on the geographic region. For example, those people who are coming here who are living a life of shepherds, for example, they are coming from the, I will give an example, I am giving an example on the basis of geographic region. They are coming from Poonch and Rajouri, but they live here for a period of time and then they go away. Their language, they don't have a language which is common in the state. For example, if we people have Kashmiri language, the whole masses or the general masses of Kashmir have Kashmiri language, but these tribals have a different language even in the Kashmir. Their race, their economic activities, etc. As we people are living or having our economic activities, for example, in jobs, in professions, in other things. We have also farming, agriculture as well as horticulture, but our agriculture and horticulture process is based on the modern technology and modern processing, right? But these people, if they have also farming, but that is not based on the modern technology. During the medieval period, tribes were engaged in different occupations. Very easy to understand. That means these people at that time were engaged in different occupations. And what were those occupations? They were hunters, farmers, food gatherers, dancers, etc. Some tribals even settled at one place and started cultivation there. They were settled cultivators. This was for tribal communities in our chapter 8, and in our next lecture, that is inshallah on Saturday, we will talk about the tribal communities.